I'm Jim Roberts. I'm host of Senior Living in Alexandria. This is a monthly program sponsored by Senior Services in Alexandria as a service and information program for seniors, obviously, but also family, friends, caregivers, service providers, others in the Alexandria community that are interested or work with seniors. We try every time to provide useful information that would be of interest to that audience. And today, we've got a special program for you. We're going to focus on legal services. I know that's going to be of interest of most of you, and hopefully you will not need legal services, but boy, we've got good ones for you when they're ready. I'm pleased that Mary Horner is here. She's staff attorney with the Legal Services of Northern Virginia. She focuses on housing, consumer, and elder law, of all things. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does and how it works. And we're leading into the Law Day, Senior Law Day, that is in June 22nd. And she's on the planning committee for that and very actively involved in that community. So we'll learn a little bit about that in the second half of this segment. Tell me about legal services. What is legal services?
Yeah, so Legal Services of Northern Virginia is the largest nonprofit organization. We're a legal aid society in Northern Virginia.
Okay.
We have 5 primary offices. Our biggest office, our largest office, is located in Fairfax.
Okay.
We also have offices in Loudoun, Prince William, Arlington, and Alexandria, and I work in the Alexandria office. We focus on civil matters, and our clients are low income, elderly clients, and disabled clients.
What are the criteria that define your client base?
So our client base, it kind of it's broken into several different areas depending on different grants that we have, but our primary clientele are those who are below 125% of the poverty level. Those would be, we consider low-income clients. We also have our elder clients. Those are anyone who is over the age of 60 would qualify for some type of assistance if they qualify based on the topic, that legal issue that they have. And then, of course, those who, if you have a disability as well.
How do you, what are the range of legal services you provide? And particularly those that might be oriented to, what are the needs of elderly in particular, but what's the range of things? It sounds like a law firm.
It is kind of like a law firm, and we have different attorneys who specialize in different areas. Okay. Just within the Alexandria office, for example, I specifically focus on housing, consumer, and elder law issues, which can encompass housing and consumer issues. In fact, I would say my primary issue with my elder clients somehow revolve around housing, because housing is affordable housing is such an issue in the Northern Virginia area and in Alexandria in particular. But I would say we also offer a variety of services to our elder clients. We offer advanced directives or assistance with advanced directives, so we can help draft wills or a power of attorney or a healthcare power of attorney and give advice and counsel on that. We also deal with issues relating to assisted living, so if it's contractual issues or discharge. We also handle consumer issues, so whether it's a bankruptcy, helping someone file for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, or if someone's being sued in court, we can go help defend them in court. So our range of the level of representation we can offer ranges. It can be just providing simple advice and counsel over the phone or in person, all the way up to actual representation in a court case, whether we are affirmatively filing a case or have a defensive posture.
What, so I guess I'm still a little, so there's criteria by which, so you mentioned 125% of poverty, et cetera. So is your first step when a client appears before you that you measure them against those criteria and see if they're eligible for your services?
Right. So the process of, before someone actually is at my desk, the process of applying for our services is first someone will apply, and I can talk about how to apply later. But once they've gone through the application process, during that process, you'll be asked questions about how much money you make, your sources of income, but also your assets. And so we'll determine what level, where you are at compared to the poverty level based on that. Once you qualify for our services, whether that's through age or income, we then we'll ask you questions, our intake staff will ask you questions about what your legal issue is specifically. If you're calling in for a will, for example, the first step is determine, can we actually help you? So sometimes we'll have people call in for a trust issue. We don't handle trust issues, so it's kind of at the first outset seeing is your question or your legal issue something that we handle and can assist you with. If it is something that we can assist you with, you'll either be placed in an intake slot for an attorney to meet with us in person or over the phone. And sometimes we also, if necessary, we can make home visits if there's, or a visit to a hospital if it's an emergency.
Let me ask, we're going to need to go to a break in a short while, but
Yes.
What's your capacity? How many cases, how many clients, how many individuals do you deal with?
So we typically have 4 intakes a week, and one of those intakes is dedicated to an elder law client specifically. And the criteria by which we determine what level of assistance is not only based on your income, but it's also based on the strength of your case. If it's something that we believe is something that we can, have a good defense or a good argument in court, of course, we're more likely to take those for full
Do you
representation.
have enough capacity to match up with the demand for those that are seeking your services?
No, unfortunately not, particularly when
So you
it
have
comes.
to select?
We have to select, and sometimes there'll be the time frame will take a little bit longer. For example, if you're calling in to have a will done, we will place you on a callback list because we have so many people seeking
Okay.
those services. But we do try and have community-wide events such as a wills clinic or something where we can try and touch more people at the same time.
Okay. We're going to have to go to a break, but we'll come back and want to learn more about legal services, but also focus in then on Law Day.
Absolutely.
If they have questions that come out from this, I'm sure you'll be glad to attack them then. So we'll be back.
Okay.
Well, here we are again with Madison Reeder in our cooking segment. This is something we really look forward to in every senior living in Alexandria. And she's done this a number of times, and every time she's knocked it right out of the park with excellence. So this is Madison Reeder, world-class dietitian, nutritionist, and inventive cook. She's got a wonderful recipe. It's summertime. Madison, what are we going to have this month?
So for today, we are putting all the vegetables on the table, literally, and we're making a cauliflower stir fry.
Cauliflower stir fry.
Yes, so this is one of my favorite things for summertime because your fresh veggies are in season. Of course, you can use your different frozen options,
Okay.
but it's a really great way to make something light. It's very simple to make on your stovetop, doesn't take up a lot of heat in the home. Very healthy and delicious. This is a great crowd pleaser if you're going to have some folks over summertime for a party or an event. This is a good one.
Is this an entree or a side dish? Or
It is. It's an entree.
Oh,
so
okay.
You'll
Vegetarian.
You'll notice as we talk about this, there's no real protein source in it, so you can add something to it, definitely. But this is just your veggies, and it has lots of room to be built upon. So this one I'm really excited
What would you
about.
typically serve it with? Obviously by itself. But
Yeah, so this is something like a stir fry, like a typical stir fry.
Okay.
You could do some scrambled eggs with it. That's my
Ooh,
favorite way
great.
to make it. You
Great
could add
idea.
some chicken, some shrimp, really whatever you'd like. For a vegetarian option, you can add some chickpeas to it as well. Great options.
Let's see how to make it. How do we
Alright.
do this?
So this one is really simple. The most important thing for a vegetable dish is your cooking time and how you're prepping your veggies.
Okay.
Because what happens is, especially with cauliflower, as you make it and it starts to break down, it's going to give all of those liquids in the cauliflower are going to start to seep out. So that can make your cauliflower really watery and you won't get that true stir fry taste to it. If you think of fried rice, if you get that at any Chinese restaurant or you make it at home, that rice has a little bit of like a crisp to it, a little bit of a crunch.
Okay.
It's not mushy. So your cauliflower much more easily can become mushy. So I used, as you can see here, I used a riced cauliflower. It's organic, but doesn't have to be. And this I bought in the frozen section of Trader Joe's, but you can get this now. They're so popular in any grocery store. If you're using a frozen one, my recommendation, take the tiniest bit of olive oil, just a touch, probably less than a teaspoon. You're gonna put that in the pan, add the entire amount of cauliflower rice, any amount you want. I usually will add the whole package because more veggies is always a good thing. And I will, as my mom always said, I'll fry it hard. So I will make sure that it's in there, my heat's up on high, and I'm constantly, with a spatula, turning that rice over so that it gets a little bit crispy on all sides. It'll get a little bit golden brown. So your cauliflower will change flavors.
Okay.
The next thing, because we want to add even more veggies, we want to add some color too. That cauliflower is very bland looking. We want to add a little something to it. So what I like to do is I like to add some red, green, and yellow peppers. These are frozen. Now this is great for seniors or people who are on the go because it's already chopped up. They're still just as healthy, still just as high of a nutrient value, but very, very simple. So I'll add these.
I love these because they're so colorful.
I do too.
Whatever you-
I do
okay.
too, especially for summertime.
You could eat them straight up.
Yep, and
Okay.
I'll also add some sugar snap peas.
Oh, those are good
What's
too.
really nice is then you get some different textures with your veggies, and the sugar snap peas, more than your other two, will add some extra fiber to your
Okay,
diet. We
okay.
want that fiber. You get that from all your
Fiber.
veggies. Yep, but these are gonna have the most, great for your GI.
Okay.
So once your cauliflower is really cooked down and it's got that nice golden brown texture to it and tone, you're gonna add your snap peas and your peppers.
Okay.
Just
in
br-
the same
You're
skillet.
all in one pan, which is really the benefit of this. It's all
right.
under one roof.
Okay.
The last thing you're gonna add, and what's unique is usually when you're cooking, you would do your garlic and your onions first, right? You add your oil, do your garlic and your onions. But with this, because we wanna make sure all that moisture is out of the veggies before you add in other components, you're gonna add your onion last. So I'll just use a white onion. I like to use a fresh one. And you see here I have some frozen options and some fresh, which is a great way to save cost, have it ready to go in your refrigerator, just make it really simple for yourself. But I like to use a fresh onion. I think the flavor is a little bit more pungent than if you find a frozen option. Just dice it into slices,
Okay.
and I'll add that in, kind of pulling everything to one side of the pan, adding that onion in so it can get just a little bit soft. So far, all we've
You don't
got,
cook it to transparency like you would ordinarily do it with an onion recipe.
it'll get there, but I just kind of
Just
make
wait,
it.
cook it with the rest.
Exactly.
I see. Okay.
So I'll pull it to the side so it's got its own little section of our pan. But so far, all we've got in our pan are veggies, our onions, and they're just hanging out in there. So it's that simple. There's no other utensils or anything that you need, no fancy equipment. This one, you just need your stovetop.
Okay.
Last but not least, we need our flavoring. Otherwise, we just got veggies in there.
That's right.
We gotta give our veggies some flavor.
Give them a oomph.
Yes, they need a powerful punch so that everyone's going to want to eat them. The veggies are only as good as if people will consume them. So we want to add some soy sauce. I like a reduced sodium soy sauce. I never buy one that's not, because this has a lot
It
of
does have a lot of salt.
high amount of salt in there. You want to make sure that you're only adding as much as you can based on what your doctor has recommended for you for your salt intake. So if you have any cardiac issues, you want to be aware of that. But for my soy sauce, I'll only add a tablespoon.
Oh, all
Start
right.
with a tablespoon and leave it there.
Okay.
Next thing for flavor, we want to add some garlic. I recommend fresh garlic, but a garlic powder will really seep in to the moist vegetables that you have in there and pack just as big of a punch. So I like to point that out because sometimes we don't have fresh garlic on hand or it's too hard to mince it. Adding some garlic powder for this recipe
And a shortcut.
is a shortcut, and it's perfect.
Okay.
The last thing I like to add to a recipe like this is if you have it, some kind of a soy sesame vinaigrette. You can find this. This is from Trader Joe's. That's typically where I'll do a lot of my shopping, but you can find any kind of vinaigrette like this anywhere.
Would you find that in the salad dressing or the
Yep.
seasoning?
Usually the salad dressing
Okay.
aisle, it's usually hiding in there, and this can be used for so many other recipes too. So I'll add about a tablespoon of this, a tablespoon of that, mix it all together, and we have our cauliflower fried rice. Most important, once you add these, just like we wanted to make sure that there wasn't too much moisture, we want to make sure that we've cooked this for another probably 5 minutes after adding it, constantly, not constantly, but very frequently stirring to make sure it's not just kind of a puddle at the
Yeah,
bottom, that
yeah.
it's seeped into those veggies.
No, you wanted some integrity of the vegetables.
That's
not
exactly
mush.
right. That's
There we-
exactly right.
I
So
can see
then,
that.
what we're
Why,
left
look.
with is this lovely cauliflower rice. You can add even other different veggies, mushrooms I like to add, water chestnuts sometimes. Again, add some protein to it. But this, you use one pan, a spatula, that is all you really need, and a knife to cut your onion. That's it.
Okay.
Scissors to open your packaging, and you're able to enjoy.
We're back, and we're having a conversation today with Mary Horner with Legal Services of Northern Virginia, and she has been telling us a little bit about how Legal Services of Northern Virginia works, how it works with clients and their services. So we want to continue on that thread, but at the end we want to be sure and focus on, of course, Senior Day, Law Day in Alexandria, and that'll be coming up on June 22nd. But coming back to Mary. Mary, so we were talking about the legal services that you provide. What's a typical, so you do the intake and they're qualified to receive your services. I guess I have to ask, is there a cost of these services, or is there a schedule of services? Is there an hourly fee? How does that work?
All of our services are 100% free. Yep.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I'll be there. What? And you're located in Alexandria?
Yes. So our Alexandria office is right across from the courthouse.
Okay.
It's on the corner of Pitt and King Street. So our address is 100 North Pitt Street, and we're Suite 307 on the 3rd floor.
Do you have regular office hours? And then do you have emergency hours in case of a crisis or
So we do
family
have
situation?
emergency intakes scheduled, yes. So if there is an emergency, there is always an opportunity to be seen on an emergency basis. Otherwise, each attorney in the office has a day set where we meet with new clients all day long. They're pre-scheduled, of course, just because of the high demand. But personally, my intake days are Tuesdays. So I meet with 4 new clients every Tuesday.
On the other 4 days, or weekends, or however you work, what other things do you do? Is that case preparation
Right.
and research and law investigation? Do you appear in court?
I do appear in court, yes. So it's a variety of what you named. It's whether it's research, filing or drafting documents,
Okay.
doing research. We have meetings, task force meetings, where we discuss all of the attorneys who handle a certain type. So we have an elder law task group, and we meet every other week to discuss our cases so that we can brainstorm off of each other and kind of plan for what the next steps to take. And yes, we do appear in court at least weekly.
Are there emergency providers or hospitals or whatever that are aware if there's a legal need, they would initiate a call to you, or do you have to be reactive to creating a caseload?
We're primarily reactive, but we do work very closely with community partners such as the CSB, Community Services Board, and oftentimes we share clients. So, they might refer a client to us and help a client apply for our services. Similarly, we might send a client to their services. So we do work very closely with APS, with Adult Protective Services, and the Community Services Board, and the Human Rights Commission. So we do work closely with.
So as they put together their array of services, your legal services would be one, if not the central service that they would be able to recommend.
Yes, when it comes to civil legal matters, yes.
Okay. And you said you only do civil, not criminal?
Yes, so we only do civil law. We do not handle any criminal law, so we don't handle traffic. If anything to do with personal, we also don't do personal injury. So there are certain aspects of civil law that we don't cover.
How many wills and how many senior cases can you handle? I mean, if I showed up today and said, gee, I got a dispute with my neighbor, and I really need legal help because I know nothing about legal services, what's the time frame or the progression? You may say that's not worthy of our services, but
That's always a possibility. It really is dependent on the resources we have available at the time, which vary. If you have a court case pending, there will be a priority in having that scheduled more immediately. And if you can, if our clients qualify under several different issues, so if you're an elder client who also has a housing issue, there's a more opportunity for me to meet with them sooner.
How do you measure? I think it's critical that people are aware of such services.
Absolutely.
How do you go about? What is your impression of the level of awareness in, say, the senior population? Do they know that Legal Services Northern Virginia might be helpful to them?
Well, I'd like to hope so, and we do make efforts to do outreach. So whether that, I go and sit in the courthouse once a week to try and make our services known to the public. I've also, tried my best to get out there and advertise for us. We did a wills presentation at a condominium in the area that has a very large senior population, and I did hear some feedback that not everyone was aware, and ever since, the more outreach we do, it seems to be the more people we have coming in.
What are the proactive things that you do in terms of awareness? Well, of course, we talked about Law Day, but what other things might you do? Do you have brochures, pamphlets, website, sort of the standard things to give people a window on your services?
Right. We definitely have plenty of resources, when it comes to pamphlets and brochures that we hand out. We try and have a presence at events throughout that are relevant to seniors. So whether it's something like Senior Law Day and being part of the planning and actually having a presence while we're there, it's very important.
Tell us about Senior Law Day. What is it? And how long has it been in existence, and what's your role, and what's going to happen if you come on June 22nd?
Right, so this is the 8th annual Senior Law Day.
Okay.
So this is going to be taking place on June 22nd, as you said. It's from 8:30 to 12:30 at T.C. Williams. And this year, our topic is standing up for your community, how to avoid yourself and your community, how to avoid scams. So we'll be focusing primarily on scams that are targeting our senior populations, which are, as you're probably aware, very, very prevalent right now. And so our keynote speaker, the general design of Senior Law Day this year is we'll have a keynote speaker at the outset, and then we'll have 2 panels. Our keynote speaker is Christine Kiefer. She is with the financial, it's FINRA, so financial...
Investment advisor, that's an advisory board?
Yes.
Financial Services Advisory?
Yes, Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. So she will be discussing why scams have grown increasingly popular and why it's important to have a financial plan to address scams. We also, our first panel will discuss signs, what to look out for and how to identify scams. And our second panel will focus on basic estate planning documents and how those can be useful in avoiding falling into a pitfall associated with a scam.
Okay. And you're on the planning committee for that?
I am on the planning
committee. Will you be a speaker or panel member, or don't know yet?
I'm not going to be a panel member, but there will be Legal Services of Northern Virginia plus other community partners will be there in a tabling kind of format, so providing more information about LSNV and what services we offer, in addition to other resources will be there as well. Okay,
so our audience needs to pay attention to those dates and times and so forth, and they can come in with complex legal issues to confound you, I hope.
Right.
And you'll solve them all.
Sure, hopefully.
Okay. Well, that's useful to know, that there's that kind of help, and I think the fact that it's a free, affordable, is particularly important, because I think many people might feel unrepresented or without any help and not know how to deal with it. So I think your experience is very helpful. So, well, thank you for coming today and giving us an overview of legal services of Northern Virginia, and also in terms of thinking ahead to Law Day.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much.
Good to be here.